is a member of the Mice Chat Podcast Network. MicePod.com. Now, the podcast that's nearly the same as all the others.
Warning, this show contains childish adult content and is intended for immature, mature audiences. Listener discretion is advised.
I think we're mellowing in our old age.
The views spoken are ours and ours
Possibly.
alone, not those of any other bugger. If you're easily offended, we strongly suggest finding another podcast. Everybody neat and pretty, then on with the show.
I feel I should just talk over this bit, but I don't want to because Tom did it.
Well, if people are cheering, I think that's
I know. As if people actually still fall for the fact that we record this in a bar.
Disafterdark is recorded in front of a live bar audience.
Yeah, treat your audience with the contempt they deserve. There they go. Oh, good evening. Thank you very much, and welcome to Series 3, Episode 4 of Disafterdark. We're back, and hopefully we're back on form, firing on all four cylinders every 2 weeks for you now.
At least until Christmas ruins it for everyone again.
Yeah, we'll try not to. We promise. I'm Paul.
I'm Nick.
I am Paul.
hiding at the back.
I'm the other Paul.
Yeah, hiding at the back. Went to the bar early. Ah, dear. Right, back on form, gentlemen. Let's. What are we drinking?
I'm just gone for a normal. What was in the fridge? I didn't really prepare myself very well, so I've got a lovely bottle of Coors Light. So it's also. On the scale of cold or damn cold, it is damn cold as in Jean-Claude Van Damme. So cheers. And many happy returns to Paul.
Oh, thank you.
There you go. There we go.
I'll blow some candles out later. Mr. D, do you have a beverage of choice?
I do. It's very Christmassy themed. This bottle is all red and green. It's Bulmer's crushed red berries and lime. It's like a poinsettia in a bottle. Happy birthday, Paul. Cheers.
Thank you. Yes. Yeah, I'm 21 today.
Plus.
Yeah.
Okay.
Give or take a bit. I've tried to bring back a very loosely themed Disney connection today, so I have gone for a 101 Dalmatians theme beer by going for a bottle of Marston's Pedigree. Sorry, it's tenuous, but it's the best I can do.
Better than nothing. Better than most people did.
Cheers,
to be honest.
Cheers, gentlemen. We have had people suggest Disney beers. We just can't find them, or haven't found them. But keep them coming if you know of any.
And of course, if you know where to actually locate these beers for us, please let us know via our website at www.disafterdark.com, or you can email us at podcast@disafterdark.com.
And you can find us on Twitter at Disafterdark, Facebook.com/Disafterdark, and we're on nicechat.com.
And yeah, Instagram, Pinterest, all that stuff.
B24 Radio.
Still, probably, maybe.
Yeah,
all the others. Don't know. There's other live streaming radio services that we're probably on.
Stitcher.
Yeah, I wonder if I could start selling this as an audiobook on Audible. Download it for free.
What about an Audible? Why not?
Yeah.
We'll get something going on GarageBand. How about that?
Oh, that'll do the trick. We'll get out. Well, we've still got to get an album together of Pub Singer's greatest hits and Nick on his kazoo.
Yeah, I'm trying to find a kazoo, by the way.
You've had a couple of weeks.
They're hard to find.
I say you've had a couple of weeks. From the time it actually got released when I uploaded it this morning, because I've been slacking. Janelle.
This is the thing. I realise, we both said happy birthday to you. By the time this goes out, it could be 6 months later, could be next October. This news could either be very relevant or not very relevant.
Indeed. Well, yeah, we haven't got any guests today, so it's just us three and the other people in the bar.
Yeah.
Joining in. So, shall we just go straight into what we said we weren't going to do and do the news anyway?
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. I'll just hit this button.
A view of the news with Disafterdark.
You will, however, notice I haven't changed any of the jingles for the new series.
Have we recorded any yet?
Only the opening and ending.
That's what I mean.
Yeah.
If we're not recording new jingles, we can't really hold you responsible for that. Maybe as a Christmas present to ourselves, we'll get in the studio.
Yeah, at some point. So what has been happening in between us actually releasing or even recording the last one and today?
Oh, hell's frozen over, I believe.
That would be Elsa to blame. The Eagles,
Frozen 2's come out.
Yeah,
Star Wars 8 has come out.
The Eagles are back on tour again.
Right, so I wanted to kick things off. Apologies in advance to American listeners. This is my stories about Disneyland Paris, but at the same time, it's looking at things from their point of view, but also referencing other things.
We do like to think we are a Disney podcast, not just...
Exactly. Not exclusive, and I know a lot of you guys over there are actually interested in some way about this stuff. So recently they got a new CEO, which Tom Wolver, and Mark Steve's over there as well, and taking over from our good friend Philippe Gas, and they had a presentation and a bit of a shareholder meeting last week. So there was quite a lot that was covered. It was only supposed to be a half an hour meeting, but from what I can see, it was about an hour and a half in total. So it was quite a long one. And I know I haven't gone to these before, that they can go on a bit, and they're always very interesting as well. So one of the things that was kind of hinted at as possibly coming is magic bands.
Ooh.
Now you guys have obviously used that, but they reference the fact that it's the investment so far has been about $1 billion. So it's expensive, but it's a smaller park in comparison to Disney World, or smaller area. So it's plausible. But what they want to do is catch up and comply with standards and expectations, is what he said here. So does that mean they're looking at the teething problems they've had so far? Is it just they think that to get it installed in Paris they'll have to do a bit more work than just simply stick it in and hope for the best? Could be either of those, could be both of those. I think that's what they're talking about there.
Magic bands coming to Paris potentially.
Well, I mean, I think, to be honest, I think if it does continue to be reasonably successful, it will roll out anyway.
Yeah.
I think it's one of those inevitable things that you just can't really avoid. He talks about the fact that the studios in Disney Village are not complete, and that basically they need to kind of catch up, but it's not going to be something they can do overnight.
Haven't they still got the third gate to even actually make any headway on before 2017?
I don't know what the deadline is for the third gate, but I mean, yes is the short and simple answer. Yeah. As well as they've obviously got the nature park.
Yep. As
well, haven't they, down the road?
Yeah.
Which they're kind of in conjunction with. So that's supposed to be coming as well. And they are even looking ahead to the 25th anniversary as well. I think he references about how things are going to be in 3 years. I think in place already. He's got a 3-year plan of what he wants to do. So I think that's it.
Microsoft project is sitting on a little PC in the corner.
Yeah. Well, I think someone else pointed out things like shows about the state of the Disney Village, which he kind of referenced already, and they're definitely open to more shows. Yeah. Also, for people that are not too keen on the food, they're looking at that. So they've just done they've got a joint venture now with Flow Group. Now I'm not really into catering, so I'm not sure who Flow Group are, but they're referenced. He said that the park restaurants used before many frozen foods, and they're now looking to work more with fresh products because of this joint venture with them. So looking at the success of Remy's Bistro, which has become the number one restaurant in the resort, they're looking more towards that thing of being a more specialised, focused menu. Because to be honest, if you look around, a lot of places do very similar things, don't they? There's not many places that do things that are unique.
No, it's not like, if you want a burger counter service, you go to the counter service burger restaurant, or there's a hot dog counter service restaurant, or I don't know, Beaver Tails.
That's it. I mean, a lot of the burger places I saw, the burgers were pretty much the same. Yeah. There was one, and I can't remember the name of it, in embarrassing really for a Disney podcast, in Frontierland, which was advertising when I was there, Buffalo Burger. Right. And I know that a couple of the burger places also offer Angus. An Angus burger as an option.
Yeah.
But the normal burger and cheeseburger are always the go-to options at these places. And only a few of them have things on top of that as well. So for that, it seems very standard. They mentioned about Halloween as well, because I don't know anyone who went this year, but apparently it was an absolute disaster. You
say that. I mean, Halloween may have been a disaster in itself, but looking at various sort of Facebook posts and tweets from people who've been over the last couple of weeks, for about the last 3 weekends, it's hit capacity and park closed by like 10:30 on a Saturday morning.
Well, see, the thing is, I think the problem with Halloween this year was they did the park up like they normally do, but they didn't do the Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween passes like they used to.
No.
And they just had the event on Halloween. And they were saying that there were 2,000 more people this year than there were the previous year. Now, that's really because you've got one... it's the same as what they do in Disney Studios when they have a villains event.
Yeah.
If you're just doing a one-night-only event, of course you're going to get a lot of people coming to
rammed,
it. Yeah. Because it's like everyone's going to focus to go there that night. So, I think they might have learned some lessons. Maybe they're going to try and do more of them next year. Maybe they just need to manage it better. I don't know. But it is something that has been looked into. Another thing that was mentioned, this was down to somebody asking about hotels and stuff like that and bookings, is that the computer system is almost the same as when they first opened. Now, you yourself are very tech savvy.
Yeah.
And that park opened in 92.
Yeah.
I believe Windows has been updated since then in the parks. I mean, obviously we know in real life it has. But they're basically saying the program is about the same. That's pretty bad, yeah?
Little DOS-based database of stuff, yeah.
It's not going to be good.
Ouch. That's going to take some upgrading.
Now, another thing as well, and this is obviously something we covered before, is, they're looking obviously at the moment to do some financial restructuring.
Yep.
And there is going to be a shareholders referendum for that in January. I can't remember when in January, but that's when it's expected to be. And that's where they're going to put this notion forward of how they're going to do it, what it's going to mean for shareholders, this, that, and the other. Now, the reason why I wanted to mention the story as well is, we've talked about this before, and the limit used to be 20. Was it a year and a half ago, maybe? It went up to 100 shares as a minimum. And obviously, this is going to be potentially restructured again to bring in more finance. So they've already warned that, your shares will be going down in value, and they'll buy them at a reduced rate if this all goes ahead. What they've said here is that, if you are a shareholder club member with 100 shares before the recapitalisation, and you still have a minimum of 100 shares after, the club members will still be the same, and you'll be able to renew your cards.
Okay.
But the conditions will be charged for new shareholders, and it's estimated the new threshold will be raised to 900 shares.
Good God.
For example, it says for example.
Yeah.
And it's not final, and new conditions will be communicated after this. So the reason why I wanted to bring this up, and I'm sure other podcasts will bring this up as well that deal with this, is that I've been waiting to find out to see what I want to do. Now, even if I think they were looking to restructure it so the shares will be worth about €1 each, you'd be looking at €900 to now join the shareholders club, which is going to stop a lot of people doing it. Maybe that's their intention, but you think
10, I'm sure we'll come to it in a minute. So
yeah. But it's a crazy figure. So basically, the reason why I'm mentioning this now is that anyone that was kind of dithering about doing it, or like me, has shares but doesn't have the 100 minimum that you now require to be a shareholder, now's the time. Because if this goes through in January, I can guarantee it'll be instant.
So how much are they at the moment, roughly?
So at the moment, I was looking on Friday, which let's say, well, I was looking for a few days. Let's say around the 12th of December onwards, you was looking at just over €3 a share.
€3. So to buy 100 of them, you're looking at €300.
Yeah, at the current rate.
Yeah.
So if they go down to €1 each, that's €900.
Yeah.
So there's a massive difference of €600.
Yeah.
So that's it. I mean, I had 25 shares. That's where I was.
Yeah, but here's the dilemma. I bought 100.
The minimum was 20 back then.
All right.
Yeah. You bought 100.
Well, I had the 20 or 25, whatever it was, and then we went to Disneyland Paris last Christmas, so I upped it, so I bought the other 80. So now if I hang on to them, yes, I'm in the club, but the share price is going to go down to €1. So, I'll probably keep them, but you are going to take a hit on the value of shares.
Yeah, that's quite a swift kick in the proverbials.
I think the plan was, if I remember rightly, I think it was go down to about €1, but Disney would buy them at €1.50.
Yeah.
If you wanted to sell them to Disney. So you would get a bit more than market value on your new shares, or on your old shares. But that's it. I mean, at the end of the day, it's what you think. It's what you've got the shares for. Yeah. I mean, I invested in Disney shares for two reasons. One was to get the shareholder benefits. Yep. No qualms about that. I'm quite happy to say that. But the second one as well is because, I like the place. Yeah. Spend, many a time there. And I see that as I'm buying into helping keep that place running. All right, it's a very small figure when you break everything down. But by you investing in Disneyland Paris as a company, you're supporting it.
Yeah.
So for me, it was never going to be a case of, one day my shares are going to go through the roof like Apple shares.
Yeah. Because
I just never saw it as that. I mean, if you look at, the history of Disneyland Paris and shares and everything like that, at one point when it was facing near bankruptcy, you'd been lucky to got about 50p for it.
Yeah.
So, it's always been a less stable investment than other Disney companies. And so you've got to weigh it up. Is it worth you keeping them for that reason? I mean, the thing is that it doesn't say how long it's guaranteed for. I know that for the original shareholders, I can't remember how many shares you had to have back then, but if you had that amount of shares before the year 2000, then all the changes ever since that time do not apply to you.
Yeah, it was only something like 20 or 25, wasn't it?
I think before that it might have been even less. But the condition was written in that, from year 2000 onwards, anyone that had shares, would be subject to any changes. But people with shares predating that would be unaffected. So it'll be interesting to see if, buying 100 shares now keeps this going for another 2 years.
So how much do you get as a member of the shareholder club? We've covered this many a time before, but it's worth just going over the numbers if it's going to now cost you €900.
Give me a couple of seconds on that, and I'll get that information up. But yeah, it wasn't the only thing as well. Other things that were brought up during that meeting was asking about the Jedi Academy.
Yeah.
For example, because obviously heavily rumoured it's going to be going in there. And basically they said it will be.
Okay.
But they would be tweaking it.
Yeah.
So I think what that kind of meant is, it's good and it's going in, but maybe we've learned from some of the mistakes that we do with the one already.
Yeah.
So that's how I read it anyway.
Yeah. I mean, what are they going to make it a constant flow rather than a show every now and then of some kids come out and perform and
Yeah.
wave a lightsaber. If they make it a constant flow, so everyone gets a chance to have a go.
Yeah.
Interesting.
That's it really for that. Fans Illusion, rumoured to be coming back. They would not provide an answer.
The parade at night with bulbs.
Yeah.
Main Street
not the electrical light bright.
Main Street electrical spectro magic parade.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Someone also brought up the fact that there's still a lot of things that absolutely right effects that have been forgotten about, not repaired, and things just been poorly maintained.
And people think the Disco Yeti causes problems.
Yeah, exactly. You ain't seen nothing. The thing is, I think everyone agrees it's probably the most beautiful park, but there's so many things that are wrong. And they are aware of it, and it's something that they want to get on top of. So that's good as well.
That's what seems strange about the whole RFID thing, though. That they've got those kind of basic problems or issues. They don't have enough money for some of the basic maintenance, and yet they're talking about putting an RFID. And I don't know whether they've got evidence that RFID really drives sales of merchandise or sales of food or gets more people through the door. But if it doesn't, you've got to wonder if that's a good investment.
Yeah.
Well, I think that's another reason why they're dragging their heels on it.
Yeah.
Because you're completely right. It's a big investment. I mean, the thing is, the investment really has been made in Orlando. Let's be honest.
Yeah.
That's where the money's really gone. Rolling it out to other parks cannot cost the same amount of money, because once something's
the R&D's been done.
That's where your money's gone. So it's not going to cost another $1 billion to get it to the other parks.
Yeah,
but
they've got the manufacturing facilities now to manufacture 12.
They have the technology. They will
12,
rebuild.
Yeah, €12.99 worth of latex band for your arm.
Again, a timeline 2017 was banned about when people were talking about return of such things as the Frontierland geysers. Has anyone ever actually seen those?
Oh, many years ago.
Yeah, I remember seeing them like the first time I went, but I really can't remember it since then. Village Nature, apparently the first stone ceremony will happen this week.
Okay.
So it's obviously still going ahead.
I wonder if, because although it is technically a resort centre parks like thing, I wonder if because they're making a basic attraction nature based thing to it, I wonder whether they're kind of trying to get away with that. That's our third gate. Look.
I don't think they can, because it's not on property. I mean, they've got a lot of investment in Mile Laval, but you can't really consider that to be property.
Is Davy Crockett Ranch considered property?
Yeah, well, it's on the land, isn't it? Surely.
Yeah. Okay.
He says.
I don't know. Davy Crockett's Treetop Adventure as well as whatever. That's a little drive away.
Yeah.
I
guess if it's there, if it's on the actual land, that's different.
Yeah.
Right, I'm just having a look here.
That's all right. You got your little shareholders booklet out.
Doesn't say there actually. I mean, I know you got like having the annual pass.
Yep.
Sorry. You got discounts in shops. I think it was 10% in shops. Rather than the 20% you get with some of the annual passes.
Okay.
Yeah.
It was
15%.
15% in restaurants.
Okay, but if you've got an annual pass, what do you get?
15%.
So that's the same.
No, so if you get, hang on. So if you got, we'll compare it with the Dream Pass. So the Dream Pass is the highest tier.
Yep.
And that's €210 a year.
Yep.
So with that, you get your park access, obviously.
Yep.
You get 10% off your food.
Yep.
And you get 20% off merchandise in shops.
Okay.
You get a few other discounts there as well.
Yep.
The Shareholders Club, you get 15% off of single tickets.
Okay.
You get 15% off for annual passes.
All right.
You get €3 off theme park guided tours. 15% off restaurants, discount tickets to Buffalo Bills, 15% off in shops.
Okay, but you've got
so it has gone up.
Well, you get 15% off, but you get 20% if you use your 15% off your annual card.
That's it. So you weigh up what's kind of better. I mean, when I had both, and obviously the main thing with the shareholders card was I got 15% off my annual pass.
Yeah,
which brought the cost down already. But if I was going to eat in a restaurant, I'd use my shareholders card.
Yeah.
If I was buying goods in a shop, I'd use my annual pass because I got my 20%. I got my extra 5%.
Yeah.
So it's using it smart. But I suppose it's one of those things where if you've got it, you can use it. You also get a 10% off in Disney stores in Europe as well. Now, some people have... I mentioned this before with both the annual pass and the shareholders club that they've been told it doesn't work, it's not accepted. It's completely accepted. Some people have said that I've made it up. Honestly not. I use it all the time. Sometimes they've got to flick through and make sure it's definitely there. Most times it's recognised that it's an acceptable discount card for us plebs. So you can use either.
The other benefit is you get access to Salon Mickey, where you can try and eat your body weight in croissants, which isn't easy, by the way, because they're quite light and fluffy. But if you chain yourself to the chair...
Has anyone been to Salon Mickey?
Yeah. They dish them out on a very careful basis. Yeah,
you can't... It's very controlled. It's very nice to go in. If you either become a shareholder or you got someone that can get you in there, it's lovely to go in there. It's a very small area, but it's nice and quiet and peaceful. If you're lucky, you will get some kind of breakfast, like a croissant or a cookie, but that's if you're lucky. They don't seem to ever bring enough. And they have fridges stocked with fresh, like orange juices, milk. They've got hot drinks as well, but you can't take anything out with you.
No.
So you can't. No. So if you want to take an extra orange juice, won't be allowed. You drink it in there, you leave. That's it.
None of the forum baiting, rolling up of croissants and sticking in a handbag.
None of that stuff. Not
you can't get them. That's the problem. They come up. You're kind of counted out as you come in. Here's your croissant, monsieur.
There's RFID chips, magic croissants.
But the thing is, I suppose I kind of get it to an extent because it's not really what it's there for.
Yeah.
And the thing is as well. I mean, I don't know how that's changed because. The other thing with the shareholders thing was for you to buy 20 shares to get into this elite group.
Yeah.
It meant that people were able to do it if they had a little bit of extra money. And obviously they raised it to 100 to try and stop that. So I don't know how much it's been. I know a lot of people that didn't buy the extra shares when their shares, like myself, when their share card ran out, what to do. But when you're a shareholder club member, you have to pay €30, I think, still to sign up. No, that was just if you had between 20 and 100. So if you had over 100 shares, it was free to be a member. Your membership runs for 2 years. So even if in January they turn around and say we're consolidating this, and anyone with 100 shares, your terms won't change until your card runs out. That means that your card is valid until it runs out. Yeah, so if you bought your shares now, in December, then it would be December 2016 before it runs out.
Yeah, I feel a bit miffed about that because we bought ours just about a year ago now. So basically, if they expire after 2 years again, then you've got to either up it to 900 or sell them off at a much reduced rate. Then that would be a bit annoying. They should pretty much give you a lifetime.
Yeah, not a big one for investment.
Yeah, or at least another 2 years. Reset the clock.
Yeah, I mean they may do. I mean at the end of the day, this is all speculation. So they actually decide to go through with it. We won't know for sure. Yeah. But it's a case of look, this is the situation. This is what they've said so far, and I think it's good to be prepared. So for example, my annual pass runs out on the 25th of December. Ironically enough. And if I renew my pass, if you have an annual pass and you want to renew it, they normally give you as an incentive an extra 6 months on top.
Okay.
So really, you're paying the same price, but you're getting 18 months rather than your standard 12. So it's means that you're actually paying more for less. So originally, that's what I was going to do. I was going to renew that. Then obviously, I heard this announcement last week, and realistically, I can only really do one, and both cost about the same. The shares is slightly more, probably about another 30, 40 quid on top of what the pass is going to cost me. But in the grand scheme of things, I can stomach that.
Yeah.
So it's, do I buy the extra shares and get the shareholder benefits for at least 2 years? Or do I just say, sod the shares that I've got, sod the shareholders club, and I buy my annual pass? And because of the time frame, I think I might lean towards losing the 6 months I'd get and just going for the shares. And when I do need to buy my annual pass, at least I'll get a discount on it.
Yeah. Buy it when you get out there. Is there anywhere to buy an annual pass without having to go into the parks to upgrade your annual pass?
No.
So you've got to buy a day pass to get an annual pass?
If you're buying an annual pass, if you are going to Disneyland tomorrow and you want to buy an annual pass, you actually buy the annual pass at the gate.
Okay.
And what that does is it basically gives you a temporary ticket. And then you go into the park and then you go to the passport office at some point that day, because sometimes it can get quite busy. So it doesn't matter what time of day you get it, but that means you've got your access so you can use the park. But if you don't go and get your annual pass, it's a very expensive day ticket. Yeah. Because you've obviously paid for it up front.
Yeah, I know there's the little area to the right as you head into Discoveryland.
Yeah.
That,
so just down the left is a nice retro building that you go into. There is a place at the front of the park as well, just in front of the Disneyland Hotel entrance, which is Donald's Bureau.
Yeah.
But it's hardly ever open. So the main one is the one in Discoveryland.
That sounds faintly familiar.
I think it's there as an emergency backup. Well, they did some repair work on the Discoveryland Bureau.
Yeah.
And so they were doing it at the front, but normally it's always on at Discoveryland.
Oh dear, oh dear. So it's all go over in Paris.
Yeah, it has for that. And the only other thing that they've confirmed, which is going to hopefully lead into what you're talking about, is the fact that Star Tours 2 is coming.
Yeah.
And will probably be there just in time for the 25th anniversary. Which we're how many years away from now? 2017, I think.
Yeah.
2 years. Yeah. It's by 2017. There you go.
Yeah. That's just in time for 2017, which by then they'll have had the new Star Wars, The Force Awakens.
I feel like we should be having Star Wars music playing right now.
Yeah, I'll dig it out and edit it in somehow, probably.
Yeah, only a few seconds. We don't want to get sued by copyright.
We don't want to get carried away.
No.
But is it Bob Iger that confirmed that pretty much all of the Star Wars development that's going on in the theme parks is going to be based on what's coming in The Force Awakens and onwards?
You know what? Smart business to me.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, I mean, you, me, Paul.
Yeah.
We've all grown up on the original Star Wars.
Yeah.
And we've also had to live through the, debacle of episodes 1, 2, and 3.
Yeah.
So, from our point of view, Star Wars is always episodes 4, 5, and 6, and the adventures of Luke Skywalker and Han Solo and Darth Vader and Chewbacca and everyone like that. But for the new generation, some of those names are going to be seen, some of those names may only be heard, but it's new characters and new films for a new generation of kids.
So are we going to get Star Tours, The Adventures Continue?
Yeah.
Star Tours 2. Or, when you think about it, the original Star Wars was, the Death Star trench run from Episode 4. And then we moved on to Star Wars. Okay, there's some Darth Vader in there. And then there's some Gungans and some Snowspeeders and a bit of everything from all different canons and time scales. does this mean they're going to expand that with whole new
world?
Yeah, a whole fantastic point of view.
I mean, let's be honest. You're now talking this part here. You're talking about Disneyland Paris. Do you honestly think Disneyland Paris is going to get a new version of Star Wars before any of the other parks?
No, we'll get.
Only if it features Ratatouille.
Yeah.
And on top of that as well, I mean, Star Tours itself lasted 19 years, I think, in California. Lasted about 17 years in Orlando. Studios there. So, Star Tours in Paris has been there since 1992.
Yeah.
So, they're there for the long run, and they've just replaced them.
Yeah, we've
just
just
replaced the films.
We've got a few more years before Star Tours L'Aventure continue.
Yeah, I honestly think that they are just for cost and time's sake. We are just going to get a version of Star Tours 2.
A 3G projection upgrade and some goggles.
Yeah. I think that's it. I think we just have to accept that, really.
Yeah.
That's what's going to happen. But it's still fine.
Unless they could throw in, a couple of segments from the new movie, just upgrade it a little bit. But then again, that would be across the board, wouldn't it? They'd retrofit that then to the other one.
Digital projection, and there you go. Have another bit of film.
Yeah.
Now making it, I don't know. It's gone from 42 to 64 potential.
I mean, if you think about it, if they're making the movies, if they're making episode 7 anyway.
Yeah.
How much of a big deal would it be to throw in a couple of extra little sequences for the ride?
I doubt that. Yeah.
Only another couple of $1 million.
ILM will do the bit, and that's it. Yeah, done.
Yeah. That's about right.
So well, let's see what brings it.
But obviously, there's been a lot of Star Wars stuff. That's not it, surely.
Well, other than the fact they've announced the names of some of the characters in the film, but are we a Star Wars podcast or a Disney podcast? It's a tough call.
We're Disney Star Wars now, so
yeah, they are. A character called Finn, apparently.
Yeah, I'm not sure about that guy. But what I liked was the way
who would you rather he be?
What, name-wise?
No, but I've just heard someone's ringtone with "rather be" in there. I thought I'd get a pun in and see if anyone noticed.
No, I don't know what rather be is. That's a new one on me. But someone's down with the kids.
No, it's just on the bloody radio all the time.
Get arrested for that.
It's not on XFM. Other radio stations are available. I like the way they introduce the names.
Yeah.
Did you read the names, or did you see how they were introduced?
I've just read the names, but they've come from. They've done it on a baseball card thing, haven't they? Well,
they're basically recreated the Topps trading cards.
Yeah. From
the 70s and 80s. So they look exactly the same, and they've just taken the still image from the trailer and just put as the kind of subjects of the card like they used to, whatever it is with the character's name. Yes. And that's how they've revealed it. So, very clever. I mean, J.J. Abrams is quite good at that kind of stuff anyway.
I know. I was going to go with the fact that although they've, we know the release date is December 2015 for the new Star Wars film. It's only recently we've had the new James Bond film announced, and that's roughly the same time as well. So I'm a happy bunny.
Month before, yeah.
Yeah.
Month before.
Yeah. They haven't announced the name of any of the characters for that. I think there's still one called James Bond, and one called Moneypenny, and one called M.
There's Mr. Jinx
as well, isn't there?
Yes.
Well, Blofeld's not actually been announced.
No, but
just been heavily rumoured.
I would be really disappointed if they didn't just give in to it and have him bald on a rotating chair shaped like an egg with a Persian cat.
Christoph Wentz, I don't know about him and shaved hair. And also, actually, Blofeld in the films hasn't always been bald.
No, he hasn't, yeah.
Was it Her Majesty's Secret Service he had hair?
No, because he's Telly Savalas then.
So what one? There was a Bond film around that time.
Yeah, there was one. It was the big guy, and he had like white hair. But he wasn't the bald. He didn't have a scar either on his face.
No, it was a different looking one.
Yeah.
But Dave Drax Bautista, for those that watch Guardians of the Galaxy
Yeah.
or know wrestling, he's playing Mr. Jinx, who's the right hand man to Christoph Waltz's villain.
Excellent. Number 2.
The thing is, I mean, the reason why that stuck out so much, I mean, they announced Christoph Waltz's character as well, but the reason why Mr. Jinx has stood out so much to me was, I believe that's the name of the cat in the Fokker films.
Yeah, Mr. Jinx, that's right.
Yeah,
And also, Jinx was Halle Berry's character.
yeah, let's not
in
remember
Die
that.
Another Day.
Because there's reasons. I've still never seen Die Another Day, and she's one of the main reasons.
Really?
I just don't like her. She's rubbish. I've never seen her in anything decent.
There's a couple of good reasons to watch the film.
Barely.
Unfortunately not.
But Star Wars, I really cannot wait. I just wish they'd release the others in 3D at the same time. I just knock them all out.
Yeah, I thought I was quite excited seeing the trailer, and then I saw various footage of other people excited at watching the trailer.
What effect did that have on you?
Well, I think there were some people who were slightly nerdier and geekier than I am, who appeared to be receiving oral pleasure whilst watching the trailer.
But I
know full well they weren't.
I was talking to some friends today, and they'd gone to see Frozen sing-along at the Royal Albert Hall.
Yeah.
And we was talking about the level, and this is the same for any kind of fandom. So it doesn't matter what it is, whether it's Star Wars or Disney or Frozen or whatever. And he said he generally felt scared because of a few people around him. Now, they're quite diehard Disney nerds, and they go out to Orlando about 3 or 4 times a year.
Yeah.
But there are people that were just, adults dressed up as Sven, the reindeer, or dressed as the princess, loads of them. And she said there was a couple behind them, and the bloke was actually squealing in excitement as songs were coming on. And not only would he sing the songs, he would do the dialect in the accents of the actors. There's always, no matter how much of a nerd you think you are,
there's someone to out-nerd you.
Oh, and not even by a smidge. Not even by a smidge.
No.
By an absolute country mile. Really, really is.
Yeah.
So there's that, I suppose. But yeah, they've announced obviously episode 8, but a rumored title. But I'm not saying it because I don't actually believe it. It came from the director's mouth, but I think he was just doing a joke. It sounds too much like a joke.
Probably.
So I won't say that. But it'll be interesting. Because the other thing as well, this, as I understand it, is going to be in 3D. And it's definitely in some IMAX as well. They've definitely shot some of it with an IMAX camera. But I know the director of the next one, Rian Johnson, I think it is, doesn't like the 3D medium.
Yeah.
No?
Now, I'm pretty sure it's not going to be his decision whether it's filmed in 3D or not, or it's converted to 3D afterwards.
3D's. I don't know. I mean, there's very few movies now coming out in 3D compared to a year ago.
Yeah, but I think that's good.
Yeah,
because I think the thing is, it's been done too badly for too long by too many. I was going to go and see The Hobbit this weekend because my local cinema, which is the cheap cinema as well, is the only cinema in the area that's showing it in higher frame rate 3D.
All right.
So that's the new fangled technology, which is 60 frames a second. Just because I've not even seen the 2 Hobbit films yet previous to this. I've got them in my Netflix queue to watch, but because I want to see how different it is, because everyone I know that has seen it has said like it's a real kind of step up.
Yeah.
And that's the technology that James Cameron's going to be using for the new Avatar films.
I saw the second Desolation of Smaug
Small.
Yeah, that's how it's pronounced. That's exactly how J.R.R. Tolkien wrote it down in his book. Everyone else is getting it wrong.
Fine. Good.
So the desolation of Smaug in 48 frames per second.
Yeah. Sorry, you're right. Not 60 frames, 48. Yeah.
Actually, I found it quite jarring. I'm so used to the standard animation and the standard film look of 24 frames a second that it was like watching it on a computer monitor, and it was like, oh no, I'm not sure.
And let's say it's really conflicted people, because you get a candidate saying it seems dividing people more than just regular 3D has ever done.
Yeah.
Into people that think it's amazing and it's the way forward, and other people that think no, actually it's a step back.
It's like going from watching telly on a normal resolution, good old fashioned PAL telly, and then getting your first HD telly and watching something like EastEnders in HD, and you think, oh, cool, I can see your makeup. Yeah, that's terrible.
But that's the same. Like when I bought my TV earlier this year, my new TV, it's the same thing. It kind of upscales the frame sometimes.
Yeah.
And you can really see a difference. So I'm guessing what it's going to be like, but I've never watched something in 3D that way, and I'm interested to see how it contrasts with that.
Let's be honest, you don't really want to see Doc Cotton in high definition.
No, and the thing is as well, my TV will convert 3D like TV shows in real time, so I can actually watch EastEnders in 3D if I wanted to. I just choose never to do that ever.
Just don't.
But yeah, I mean, to be honest, I think really 3D, and it was done all wrong anyway. 3D was used as a way to sell tickets to the cinema for more money, which is a bit stupid, really. Especially when what that meant was that every film was then coming out in 3D.
Oh, ones that even didn't deserve to.
Really poorly converted 3D as well.
Well, it was either poorly converted, even the ones that were filmed in deliberate 3D.
Like
Clash of the Titans 2 or something.
Well, I mean, the first Clash of the Titans was one of the first to be post-converted and quickly, and it, I mean, apparently, I never saw it, but apparently showed like it was really, really bad.
But what's nice to see with the modern 3D films is that a lot of directors have foregone the cheesy 3D effect nowadays.
Yeah. Absolutely.
The Honey, I Shrunk the Kids effect of, oh, look, a snake that comes out of the screen and snaps at you.
Or 3D films work much better. Sorry, excuse me. 3D films work much better when it's used to draw you into a film, to make you feel like you're really involved in a film, you're really there, rather than, oh look, I'm going to stick a gun in your face,
I'm firing an arrow or I'm throwing an axe
straight at you.
Yeah.
We've had some really interesting stuff we watched recently. We watched a Canadian film called T.S. Spivet, which is a French director based on an American book filmed in Canada, and it's kind of flopped because they didn't really know how to market it, and it's just a normal kind of comedy drama done in 3D, and it's done exceptionally well, and it does actually quite add to the film experience, but it's not a film you necessarily think would gain from it, but the 3D's used so cleverly that it adds rather than takes away at all. Or distracts you. But, a lot of the times, films are just being churned out in 3D to raise the ticket prices by a couple of quid.
Yeah.
And look like the film was making more money than it was. So to be honest, I don't think it's dying as a medium, but what I do think is it's now being used a lot better. And I'm glad that not everything's coming out in 3D. I want my big films to be available in that format if I want to. So I think Star Wars will be, if done properly, excellent. You get films like Gravity, which were used really well. Great. But I don't want to see My Little Pony 3D.
No, I don't want to see My Little Pony.
Well, yeah, okay.
in 1D.
Don't want to see it in any format, no. But, and also, to be honest...
Did One Direction actually release their latest tour on 3D in iPads?
They released at least one of them.
Yeah.
Because 1D and 3D is just terrible. It's a pun that you don't even have to make.
Exactly.
But I feel I did.
But I kind of get those. I kind of get those kind of concert films doing that in 3D because, especially if you was there, that makes sense to me. because the idea is trying to involve you in it more.
Except when it's Alice Cooper.
So, since this is
3D yes, 4D no. How about that?
Yeah.
I think we can all agree on that one. But yeah, so I don't care if it's coming out in 3D or 2D, like IMAX. Just IMAX will be fine. But if it's 3D IMAX, even better. I really cannot wait for the new Star Wars.
So when
December
we're on the
couldn't
film
come quick enough.
Yeah. Yep.
Disney have announced their intention to make another Indiana Jones film. Not until they've got some of the Star Wars stuff behind them. But did you read that?
I glanced it. What were they saying? Like, what was the?
It was very woolly, really. It just said we do want to make another film, they didn't. But they did say that Star Wars comes first, and there wasn't any real sort of clues as to who would be Indiana Jones.
They've either got to go back to a prequel with a forerunner in the Young Indiana Jones Chronicles, or it's a post, but it's no longer Indiana Jones, it's his son, but that would make it Shia LaBeouf, and I could live without that as well.
Well, let's be honest, it's been enough time that they could quite easily swap him out.
Yeah.
I just think... I think if you do an Indiana Jones film with Harrison Ford playing...
he breaks his leg falling out of a Millennium Falcon door.
Not even falling out of it, walking out.
Yeah.
But no, I mean, the thing is, if they did Indiana Jones where Indiana was playing the role of Henry Jones to his son or to someone else, I'm fully behind that. Pass the torch, literally and figuratively, and use that as your stepping stone to a new series of films.
Yeah.
Harrison Ford is knocking on 70. To be completely honest, I hope. I don't know what the storyline for Star Wars is going to be, but I kind of hope that the last we see of Han Solo and Luke Skywalker in that is Episode 7.
Handing over the keys of the Falcon to his grandson.
Just whatever. Like, I think they need to be referencing to Pass the Torch, but I don't think they need to this new series of films.
This is the fastest hunker junk in the galaxy. Should be 0.5 past light speed. Except on a Sunday when I just drive it around the country. Slowly, with me and my wife, and my driving gloves on.
I keep it in the garage during the winter.
We'll recover over it. But that's it. I mean, I'm all for a new Indiana Jones film, but with conditions.
Yeah. I mean, it should begin with the new Indiana Jones waking up and thinking, "Oh my God, that was a terrible dream I had about crystal skulls there." Just wipe that out.
Yeah, or they just they make it even more up to date, so they don't have to use Shia LaBeouf. They can use someone who was the same age as Harrison Ford when they started the series, and he's now older, which makes it, the first series was like the late 30s to the early 40s. Now they've brought it up, bring it up a bit more to date, make it a bit more national treasure type thing, and then they can actually have someone in Cairo with Reeboks on.
Yeah, properly.
To fit in the joke that someone will recognise.
A few of us.
Yeah, that little nod.
Or you could you could remake the films. Not remake them, but just a new series of Indiana Jones films, but in a different time frame.
Yeah.
They don't necessarily have to follow on.
No.
If you decided now, you know what, let's set them in the 50s, quite easily change everything to the 50s.
Yeah.
Wouldn't take too much work.
Different baddies, not Nazis. I hate those guys.
That is true.
It'd be like mods and rockers.
Yeah, I can jive with that. A nice Vespa chase.
Yeah.
Along right and pier front. Yeah, I don't know. At the moment, they've got a massive task in hand with Star Wars.
Yeah.
As much as people love Indiana Jones, what's the more beloved franchise?
Oh yeah, Star Wars is the bigger deal.
Yeah. And at one point, hopefully over Christmas, I think, I'm going to try and watch Star Wars Rebels. Because I've recorded every episode that's been on, and they're canon now.
Ah.
Whatever Disney do is going to be canon.
Yeah.
So Captain Rex is in Disney Rebels.
All right.
Therefore, he's part of the proper Star Wars
Oh,
universe.
he's part of the universe now.
Yeah. So, anything that's in there is canon. Therefore, I have to pay attention to it.
Excellent.
And also, we've seen they've done some books. Very Star Wars heavy.
Yeah.
Grand Tarkin.
All right.
They've done a book about him.
Mm.
And again, it's a Disney release, so it's canon.
It's got to be.
So it kind of fills in a few gaps.
It will
his rise to the top.
Yeah, it will have to tie in with the entire story and the entire set of legend, because Disney wouldn't release something just for money, would they?
No, wouldn't at all. It would have to tie in. There you go.
Dear, oh dear. So in the last 5 minutes of the show, anyone got any more news?
Inside Out trailer.
Oh yeah.
Was good, I thought.
Yeah. Have you seen it, Paul?
No.
Release date June 19, 2015.
Oh,
That's a US release. I'm not sure when we get it.
US release, yeah.
Yeah, we'll probably get it at the end of July.
Yeah.
At least it won't be too long. But yeah, it looks very good. I suggest watching it. The only thing that concerns me,
Yeah.
I will say this, the only thing that concerns me is I never saw, at least for about the first 7 or 8 films, I never saw a trailer for a Pixar film that I thought, I can't wait for that. For some reason, I always felt the jokes felt flat.
yeah.
I didn't get what the characters were supposed to be like.
Slightly out of context.
Yeah, you didn't. A bit like actually Frozen's trailer from last year is a good example of that.
No.
Didn't give you any idea what the actual finished film was going to be like.
No.
So I never got excited watching a Pixar trailer. With this one, I have, and now I'm slightly concerned. Maybe the film's not going to live up to my expectation. But it's basically about the emotions in your head.
Yeah.
So you
So
said
it's like a cartoon version of Meet Dave, then. Only.
no, because already it's funny.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So actually, it's more like the Numbskulls. If you remember the
I
Beano
do, yes.
comic strip, yeah, it's a bit like that.
That is a niche market to start aiming
Or
a
a bit
podcast at.
A bit like Cranium Command.
A bit like Cranium Command. Yes.
Do you remember Cranium Command?
Yeah, good hits there.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's about the trailer revolves around a mother, daughter, and a father, and the emotions contained within their heads and the way they react differently to different situations. I thought the humour in it was very good, and looking very promising actually.
Excellent.
So roll on next summer, because it's weird to not have a year without a Pixar film.
Yeah.
I can't remember the last year we didn't have one.
But I'm glad they aren't rushing them.
Yeah, no, absolutely. But I mean, you're getting one a year.
What year was Planes 2 released in?
Doesn't matter. That's not a Pixar film.
No, you're right.
Pixar were not taking ownership of that one, either of them. And luckily, there won't be any more Planes films. A news that broke over the weekend.
Yeah.
A lost 1927 Walt Disney cartoon has been discovered in Norway.
Yeah.
Now, let me reiterate here: not the pavilion,
Okay.
No.
the country.
Because they were busy taking it down and refurbishing it for Frozen.
Yeah.
Yeah. It says the footage is an almost complete version of the first Disney Christmas film, Empty Socks. Now, obviously, we're talking Disney film.
Yeah.
We don't mean a 70-minute wonder like Snow White or something.
Yeah.
We're talking about 5 tops. But, of course, being 1927, you know what that means?
Ooh. Early.
Didn't star Mickey Mouse.
No.
Starred Oswald the Lucky Rabbit.
Right.
Oh, it was animated as well.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it was 5 minutes. The original version of Empty Socks was 5 minutes and 30 seconds long, but approximately 30 seconds in the middle of the film are missing from the footage. And before this, the only known copy of it was a 25-second sequence, which was preserved in the Museum of Modern Art in New York.
Didn't happen to be the 25 seconds that's missing from the middle.
They have not confirmed or denied this. And the library also found a copy of another Oswald film called Tall Timber from 1928.
Yeah.
Yeah. The film will stay in the Norway National Library for now, but a copy of the digitised version has been sent to the Walt Disney Company.
Yeah.
Yeah.
See, because that's how nice they are, the Norwegians.
Lovely people.
They haven't, not like us with the marbles.
No.
Gone, yeah, we'll keep those, but you can't have them grease, but we'll let Brusher borrow them for a little bit. No, Brusher, like, look, we're keeping hold of it. We found it. However, have it.
Of course.
Have this copy that's the same.
I'll never have it said that we're not culturally tuned in.
Yeah, but they're not the brightest, they're not the sharpest tool in the box, are they? I mean, if you think about it, so they've got this short, rare film, okay? And what have they got at the end of the Norway attraction?
Well,
right. So if they inserted that right in the middle of that Norway movie in the Norway Pavilion, they'd get more people in there.
There'd be thousands.
They're missing an opportunity, yeah. Some bloke in Norway listening to this podcast now going, "Oh."
We need you on our marketing team.
That's it.
We say that about Disney every episode. That's where we need to be.
Oh, that's brilliant. Well, God, this was a fairly news-heavy. Well, basically 2 items expanded and talked about.
Sorry, pub singer. No time for you today.
No time, but your album will be out shortly.
Yeah.
On all good record shops and bad ones.
Yes.
I'm sure.
Well, no, Christ, I think we're back on form again. So,
to be honest, I forgot what other features we had.
I
just thought it was these.
We actually said on the last episode we were going to do something on this show, and I'm damned for life if I remember. I'm going to have to go back and listen to it again.
I uploaded it this morning. I'll try and upload this one halfway through this week so we can catch up with ourselves again.
Nice.
That will surprise the listeners. What the bloody hell's going on here?
We did
two in a week.
Hello?
Yeah.
I think my chat might have something to say about that. But anyway,
who knows?
Even if they don't, and if they do, they can contact us via our website at www.disafterdark.com or email us at podcast@disafterdark.com.
And blah 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 at Twitter at Disafterdark, Facebook.com/Disafterdark, and at nicechat.com.
It's late night. Even Paul Nolan's doing the blah 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 bits. Damn it! Now I've lost my thing.
YouTube, Bebo,
Instagram,
Stitcher.
Yeah, that's the one I tried to remember earlier. Stitcher, yeah.
Stitcher, yeah. That's a good one. Right, Stitcher.
In that case, thank you, gentlemen, for joining us. Thank you, listeners, for joining us. And if you haven't listened to us, I don't thank you. Yeah, sod you. How will they know?
Unless you can insult people like that, they won't hear it.
Unless we've got a lot of grasses listen to this show who are now going to go to their wives, husbands, workmates, and they go, "Tell you what, I was listening to a podcast yesterday that you don't listen to, and they told you to go and yourself."
Jump on.
I might get a listen.
I want to hear this insult.
Indeed. Oh dear, that's it. And thank you very much. We shall speak to you all in a couple of weeks' time.
Okay.
Cheers. See you later.
Probably.
All the best. Bye.
Growing older is mandatory. Growing up is optional. After Dark, the podcast that's nearly the same as all the others.
I wonder how many people are actually doing research into where this tune comes from.
Well, they would have been Shazamming it, and then we've talked over the top of it.
I know,
and
that's
now
ruined it, isn't it?
They won't recognise it. Merry Christmas, in case we don't come back.
Yeah.
Suppose we should say that.
Yeah.
Yes. Oh dear. Brilliant. All right. Well, thank you very much. See you all in a fortnight's time.
I
know. I'm just gonna wait till it finishes properly, then I can click the off button and go and talking. That gives away all the secrets, doesn't it? See you later.